Forgive me for this quality, guys, but a very interesting topic today. Don't get married if. I have been married for 3 years now. So many girls around me have been married, also divorced, and I've just learned so much already. And I just wanted to give my advice and my tips to you if you haven't been married, how to prepare yourself. I have just noticed that usually guys already know what they want and don't want, as they maybe have more experience in relationships than the girls do. And the girls usually are quite naive and innocent and are just, they have really good vibes. They're like, they want to be in love, they want to be married, so they really focus on the romantic parts of the relationship. And I just want to say that from the beginning, tell your partner who you are, what you stand for, what you don't stand for. And don't hold your truth, because communication is one of the main things that can ruin a relationship. For example, if it's one of the first dates and he mentions something that you do not agree with and you're just like, I'm gonna let it slide, I'm not gonna say too much about this, like whatever. And then later on, if he mentions it again and you say something, then he will think like, why didn't you mention this before? Like, why are you only mentioning this now? But you had a problem with that from the beginning, but you didn't mention it. So that causes like an error situation. Everything you say from the get-go, he will remember. And that's how he will like envision you as a person. So say what you stand for, what you don't stand for, say what you will and will not allow. For example, in the beginning, I told my partner that I'm a germaphobe, and he took that very seriously. Of course, I'm a clean girl too, but there is a difference between being a clean person and a germaphobe. I don't touch doors, I don't touch door handles, I just don't like dirt anywhere. And then in the beginning of our relationship, we went on a walk and it had rained the day before and my shoes were dirty. What does he do? He starts cleaning my shoes. And I'm like, huh? And he says, yeah, I know that you're a germaphobe. And I was like, yeah, I don't really mind dirty shoes because I'm walking. It had rained the day before, so I know that my shoes are gonna get dirty and I will clean them once I'm home. But he thought like, she's a germaphobe, everything needs to be cleaned immediately. I'm a human being, I can handle some dirt, but I told him in the beginning, he took it very seriously up till this day. He will make sure everything is clean for me. He will make sure that the car is clean before I use it. And that's actually a good thing. But if I had only mentioned that later on in the relationship, he will not have remembered it that well or taken it that seriously as I did in the beginning. But then also things happened. For example, I just didn't think of some things in the beginning and I only thought about it later on. I have to say, he kept forgetting the things I mentioned later on. But the things I mentioned in the beginning, he remembers them so well. So do it. Say who you are, what you like, what you don't like. That's my first big tip. Also, how a person is in a relationship versus in a marriage can be much different, like so much different. Because in a relationship, you just go on dates and you have this really fun time together. But then when you're married, the serious parts come knocking. You have to pay bills, you have to do chores, you cannot spend your money on whatever you like because there's things that are necessary. And then there's leisure. When a guy is like spoiling you, buying you flowers and gifts during the relationship, it's so fun, right? Like you love it. But then once you get married, he will have to pay the bills, and he will not have all this money to give you, spoil you with. And also, there's guys that don't want to work, and they just want to sit at home, do nothing, waste their time, and you will have to be the man in the relationship. And that's where it goes wrong. A woman should never be the man in a relationship. You should always be the woman. That's why you should stand for what you want and what you don't want, so you can communicate from the beginning. I want a man that works, that earns money, that's responsible. Because if you don't talk about these serious topics for later, how are you gonna deal with it when it's already happening? Like, you should know beforehand if he has a job. Some people will say, I have a job, and they don't have a job. It's so easy to manipulate and lie during a relationship. But then once you're married, you find another person, and you're like, this is not the guy that I wanted to get married to. So just make sure he's stable, financially stable. He's responsible, he's mature, also emotionally intelligent. It's those things that are so important. But when you're like very young and just dating, you don't really think about those things. You're just very happy and in a bubble, in a love bubble, and you just only focus on your relationship. But your relationship will only last a few years, but the marriage is going to last forever, hopefully. So know who you are getting married to. Also fact check. If he says one thing like, I'm working or I'm doing this, like, make sure he is doing that. The third thing is, do not talk bad about anyone. Not about your ex, not about your girlfriends, not about your family members. No one. Even if your ex-boyfriend, for example, had cheated on you or did something wrong, do not mention that, because he will think you're worth it. You're worth cheating on. You're worth whatever happened to you in your previous relationships. And he will not take you that seriously, or he will not think of you as the prize. And what happened to you before your current relationship may happen again. Just speak highly of the people around you. If you are someone who gossips about the people around you, or your friends or your family members, he will not take you seriously at all. He will just think that you're a gossiper. He will probably just gossip about you too. Just show your best version, and just show him that you're worth it. I just know someone that had gossiped a lot about a certain someone. And what happened was, her boyfriend started dating the girl she was gossiping about constantly. You just make it only interesting for them to find out why you are gossiping about them. Because if you are gossiping about someone, they kind of have power over you, because they influence your day-to-day life so much. So why are you so interested and invested in them? It will only trigger his interest for that person. So don't talk bad about anyone. Also, if you had like a fallout with a friend and you mention that, and then later on you become friends again, he will only remember the bad things you said, the fallout. He will still judge this person. You made up and you forgave that person and you had a deep conversation with your friend, but he didn't. So he only has that version of your friend that you talked bad about. So never ever talk bad about anyone. A huge, huge tip. Also, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I just know a lot of girls love it when a guy has no social media. I get it. I understand it. He's a low-key guy. But for me, and from what I have seen, when a guy has no social media, I hope that it's for good reasons, but it's also so easy for them to cheat. Have another girlfriend, because who's going to find out? No one knows your guy. Nobody knows who this person is. He can do it so secretly, rather than if you are together with someone that is known or does have social media, everyone knows him. So if he would do anything out there, the truth will come out so easily and so fast. So for me personally, if a guy has no social media and is under the radar, that is, for me personally, the biggest red flag. If you are a low-key person and no one in the world knows who you are, that's too damn sneaky in the world we live in. It's so sneaky. And again, I'm talking from own experiences. I've seen it, I've witnessed it, I've heard it. I mean, if he has no social media, just be careful. Like, I hope it's for the right reasons, but think twice about that. One of the most important things before getting married, or if you're in a relationship, is that you are both aligned. You have the same mindset. You're in it for the same reasons. You are in a relationship for the long term. You take it seriously. You want a future, a steady future together. Go for it. If he has a totally different mindset than you have, then it's just not going to work out. You have to view a relationship the same way. The second thing is communication. It is so important. Girls are better in communicating because we can easily express our feelings. We are more emotionally intelligent. And it can be hard for a guy to communicate because he doesn't want to come off as soft or fragile. But for girls, it's only a good thing when a guy can express his feelings to us. So make sure that communication is good, because if it's not good in the beginning, it will not be good afterwards. Another topic that I wanted to talk about is faith. If you are religious and your person is religious, it is much different than someone who says, yeah, I pray and I fast and I believe. That says absolutely nothing about the person who he is. You have to have faith, like, deep in your heart. You have to speak faith. You have to, like, be a genuinely good person. There's a lot of guys out there who are religious, but their behavior is absolutely the opposite of what they believe in. They can so easily manipulate and use religion in their advantage, as in, I'm a man, I can do whatever I want, I can say whatever I want, I can go wherever I want. But then when you want something, he's gonna use religion against you. You're not allowed to, because when women have so many rights, yet so many girls maybe don't know, because religion is also mixed a lot with culture. And a big tip that I can give you is know your religion, read the books, know the difference between culture and religion, because there will be people that will tell you you have to do something because you're obliged to. It's religion. Meanwhile, it's just culture. So if you know the difference between this is culture and this is a tradition versus this is religion, this will help you out and this will save you so much. Like, so many people will try to manipulate you and try to get their way and change your behavior and the way you live just because they want to. And it has absolutely nothing to do with religion. You don't have to do anything. You are your own person. You have your own life. You don't have to be a woman stuck at home just making babies every year and having no life purpose and thinking that that is your life purpose. Because if the man is working and outside all of the time, just imagine if he comes home and he cheats, or if he has another girlfriend or whatever, where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna stand? He was outside making money, making a career, meeting people, while you were inside all of this time. and you thought, oh, this is my purpose. I'm a wife. I'm gonna have children, and then that's it. Have a life for yourself, but also do not be manipulated that you have to be this person. You do not have to be that. Also, a huge tip that I wanted to add was, if a guy is talking to you, knows who you are, what you look like, what you stand for, the way you live your life, and he wants to change everything about you. So I see girls getting married and they change their appearance completely. They change their hobbies completely. They stop studying, they stop working, I don't recognize them anymore. And for example, if a guy wants a certain girl and you are not that certain girl, he's gonna want to change you. You do not have to change for a guy. You can only change if you want to yourself. But some girls get manipulated into thinking they want that. You don't want that. If your goal is, I want to get married, and if I don't do this, I will not get married. Marriage is not your life goal. It's not the number one goal. Marriage is a bonus. A relationship is a bonus. You should be steady and firm in who you are as a person, and you should not change, because if you change one thing, you will have to change so many things. If you say yes to one thing you do not want to do, they will make you say yes to other things you don't want to do. And also, these girls change everything about themselves for this guy that they're in love with. Then they're no longer together, and the girl goes back to her old lifestyle, her old way of dressing, makeup, hobbies, career, studying, whatever. And that is the person who you are. Usually they have a glow up too, and I'm just like, you always had that glow up. You just only had a glow down because you changed yourself for this person, but you do not have to change. Also, if he says you have to because culture, religion, you do not have to. If you are not happy within yourself, you will not make the people around you happy. Only misery will follow you. You will be so unhappy, and nobody wants to live an unhappy life. So be who you are, be yourself, and do not change for anyone. Of course, it's something else if it's like a minor thing and you genuinely don't mind changing something, because sometimes you do have to compromise. But you don't have to change yourself completely. And if people around you are making comments like, wow, you've changed so much, I don't recognize you anymore, like, don't take that as criticism, but take it as a hint. Just observe what people are telling you and what is happening around you. Just don't lose yourself. A guy should always work. Even if he's not making the most money, doesn't matter. He needs to work. If he's not working anymore or less, and he's being lazy, and you have to work because bills need to be paid and you still have to live a life, it's not your responsibility to do that. You can work, you can make your own money. Of course, you can contribute a little bit if he needs help, but it's not your duty to cover all the bills and the entire financial situation. I know some girls that are being the man in a relationship. They are working, the man staying home, doing absolutely nothing. The girl's making way more money. The girl's paying the bills, doing household chores, being a housewife, being a career girl, all of that in one. And a huge turn off is when a guy wants you to be his mother. You are a wife, you're an equal partner. He should take care of you, but there's still guys out there that still want to be home, want to be nursed and cared for like their mother would. They expect you to do everything that their mother would. That's not your task. That's not your responsibility. You take care of him, he takes care of you. But you do not have to be his mother, because once you are his mother, the relationship is just doomed to fail. You should always be each other's friends and lift each other up and help each other. But it's not your task to do everything. You have to give and you have to take, and that's for both parties. But if he just wants you to be his mother, just don't. If he expects you to do these things that he should take care of, don't. You can say no. You can walk away. It's okay. Because the burden will be so heavy on you, you will completely lose yourself. And that's the main thing to avoid in a relationship, is to lose yourself. From what I've heard, one of the main reasons that relationships didn't work out was because they were not on the same line. Communication, someone who didn't have faith within himself, who wasn't a genuinely good person, who lost his faith, and that just resulted in a lot of temptation, materialistic temptation, things that are just not important. And that's how they lost their partner, their family. And it's just so sad to see this all happening. But then I can teach my son the right way, and I'm sure our generation will. But also, if you are not in a relationship yet, or you have not been married yet, these are just some tips that I can give you. And of course, I have so much more. But I just wanted to summarize this and put it in a video, because please do think twice before you get married. But yeah, that was basically it. I just hope I can help some girls with this information. And I hope you do find your partner and have a really nice, beautiful marriage, family, and you don't have a broken heart because you were just not prepared for it yet. And some people do get married early, and it can be an advantage, but it can also be a disadvantage if you're just not experienced enough.